Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into a chilling mystery surrounding the puzzling deaths of Hollywood legend Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa. Discovered in their Santa Fe mansion, there were no signs of foul play or poisoning, yet the most disturbing detail remains. Hackman lived with his wife's body for 7 days before authorities intervened. What really happened inside that house? Could there be a hidden truth behind this tragedy? Stay with us as we uncover the eerie details of this case. Gene Hackman. The private life of a Hollywood legend. Gene Hackman, one of Hollywood's greatest actors, spent the final years of his life away from the spotlight and the chaos of the entertainment industry. After retiring from acting in the early 2000s, he chose a reclusive life with his wife, Betsy Arakawa, in Santa Fe, New Mexico. He avoided major events, shunned media appearances, and virtually disappeared from public view, leaving behind an incredible cinematic legacy. Betsy Arakawa, a talented musician, also left her career behind to share a peaceful life with her husband. No longer pursuing music, she embraced a quiet existence, spending her days gardening, reading, and enjoying a simple life with Hackman. Though they had a deep love for each other, they rarely made public appearances, making their private world a mystery to fans. Hackman and Arakawa's reclusive nature made them nearly invisible to the media, but it granted them a rare sense of peace in an industry known for its relentless scrutiny. They lived simply, no social media, no extravagant interviews, no public spectacles. Those who encountered Hackman in his later years described him as a humble man, finding joy in life's smallest moments. This isolation ultimately delayed the discovery of their deaths. When authorities found Betsy Arakawa's body, Hackman had been living with her remains for a full week without anyone noticing. No friends visited, no neighbors raised concerns, only adding to the mystery surrounding their final days. Was it simply the life they had chosen, or was there something more? Though he withdrew from public life, Gene Hackman remains an enduring icon in the hearts of film lovers. He may have walked away from Hollywood, but his unforgettable performances continue to captivate audiences. His life and death leave behind not just a sense of loss, but also a lingering question. Can a man who once stood at the pinnacle of fame truly find fulfillment in complete solitude? The last time Betsy was seen, and the eerie silence that followed. The last known sighting of Betsy Arakawa was on February 11th, when she was seen at a local store in Santa Fe, carrying out what seemed to be a routine shopping trip. There were no signs of distress, no unusual behavior, just a woman going about her day as she always had. Surveillance footage showed her paying for her items, exchanging pleasantries with the cashier, and leaving the store without any indication that something was amiss. On February 13th, Gene Hackman was briefly spotted near their home, walking along the driveway with a distant, almost distracted demeanor. A neighbor recalled seeing him from afar, noting that he seemed lost in thought. After that moment, he vanished from public view. The couple's home, usually quiet but still showing occasional signs of life, became eerily still. The lights remained off at night, the mailbox overflowed, and the once well-maintained property began to show signs of neglect. From that day forward, an unsettling silence engulfed the Hackman residence. No one saw Betsy again, and Hackman himself never ventured out. Friends who tried to call received no answer, but they assumed the couple was simply continuing their reclusive lifestyle. Even deliveries remained untouched at the doorstep, yet no one thought to investigate further. As days turned into a week, the eerie quiet surrounding the house grew more noticeable. Neighbors exchanged hushed whispers, speculating but never acting. It wasn't until law enforcement was finally alerted that the grim reality behind that silence was uncovered. The world would soon learn that within the walls of the Hackman residence, something had gone terribly wrong. What exactly happened between February 11th and the day authorities arrived remains an unanswered question. The mystery of Betsy's last moments and Hackman's behavior before his disappearance only deepened the intrigue, leaving behind a chilling puzzle that may never be fully solved. The impact of Alzheimer's. When reality becomes blurred. Alzheimer's disease is a degenerative neurological condition that gradually strips away memory and cognitive abilities. In Gene Hackman's final years, this illness may have cast a shadow over his life, making the line between reality and illusion increasingly thin. People with mild Alzheimer's often experience short-term memory loss, difficulty recalling recent events, or confusion about time and place. This has led to speculation that Hackman may not have fully realized his wife Betsy had passed away, leading him to continue his daily routines as if nothing had changed. Some theories suggest that, in his state of mental decline, Hackman may not have recognized Betsy's death and simply carried on with his daily life. Alzheimer's patients often cling to familiar habits, convinced that everything remains unchanged even when reality has shifted. If Hackman indeed suffered from the disease, he may have genuinely believed that Betsy was still alive, which could explain why he did not take any immediate action after her passing. The possibility that her body remained in their home for days without a call for help is both haunting and heartbreaking. People with Alzheimer's sometimes experience time slips, reliving past memories rather than processing the present. This raises a chilling question. In Hackman's mind, was he still living in a time when Betsy was alive? Could he have been speaking to her, preparing meals for her, or waiting for her response, unaware that she was gone forever? This theory is not only unsettling, but also highlights the devastating ways in which the disease can distort human perception. Though there is no confirmed medical evidence that Hackman suffered from Alzheimer's, signs of cognitive decline in his later years are difficult to ignore. If his condition had progressed significantly, he may have lost not only the ability to distinguish between reality and illusion, but also his awareness of time itself. This could explain why he never called for help. Perhaps, in his mind, Betsy was still there, still alive. The story of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa is more than just a personal tragedy. It raises profound questions about the impact of Alzheimer's on both patients and their loved ones. It serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of memory, how the mind can betray us, and the silent suffering of those trapped between two worlds, one of fading memories and another of a reality they can no longer comprehend. The mysterious cause of Betsy's death. A rare and unsettling truth. The autopsy results revealed a chilling discovery. Betsy Arakawa's cause of death was attributed to a rare and deadly virus known as HERAS, which is primarily transmitted by rodents. This revelation sent shockwaves through both the medical and investigative communities, as cases of this virus are extraordinarily rare, and the circumstances surrounding its presence in Betsy's home remain a perplexing mystery. While the virus itself can be fatal, the question that lingers is, how did it infiltrate their secluded residence, and why was Betsy its only victim? Further complicating the case was the fact that Gene Hackman tested negative for the virus. Given that he and Betsy lived in close quarters, one would expect both of them to have been exposed. His negative test results led investigators to explore alternative theories. Was the virus introduced deliberately? Did Betsy unknowingly come into contact with contaminated food, an infected animal, or some other unseen threat? The absence of any other reported cases in the area only deepened the enigma. Experts analyzing the case suggested that the virus may have been lurking within the home for an extended period before infecting Betsy. Old ventilation systems, hidden nests of rodents, or even contaminated objects could have been potential sources. However, no evidence of recent rodent activity was found inside the home, making it increasingly difficult to determine when and where the infection occurred. The notion that an unseen, deadly force had taken hold in their private sanctuary was both terrifying and unexplainable. Despite extensive testing and environmental analysis, no clear source of the virus was ever identified. This lack of concrete answers only fueled speculation and theories, some rational, others bordering on the supernatural. Did Betsy encounter an infected animal outside of the property? Could the virus have been dormant in the home, waiting for the right conditions to strike? Or was there an even darker explanation lurking beneath the surface of this tragedy? The mystery of Betsy's death remains unsolved, leaving more questions than answers. Her passing was not only a personal tragedy for Hackman, but also a case that continues to baffle medical professionals and investigators alike. The eerie nature of her demise serves as a haunting reminder that sometimes the greatest threats are the ones we cannot see, and the most unsettling mysteries are those that resist explanation. Did Hackman realize his wife had passed away? The 7-day mystery, one of the biggest questions surrounding this tragic case, isn't just the cause of Betsy Arakawa's death, but what happened afterward. Did Gene Hackman actually realize that his wife had passed away? According to the investigation, Betsy may have contracted the Hirus virus while cleaning their home, which led to a sudden and severe respiratory collapse. Experts suggest that once this virus takes hold, a patient's condition can deteriorate rapidly within hours or days, often without obvious warning signs. If this was the case, it's possible that Betsy passed away without being able to call for help, while Hackman remained unaware of the severity of her condition. Complicating matters further, Hackman was in the early stages of Alzheimer's, a disease that disrupts memory and the ability to process reality. It's possible that he didn't notice his wife's health declining, or even failed to recognize that she had died. Neurologists explain that Alzheimer's patients sometimes struggle to process information in a normal way. They may see a deceased loved one and still believe they are alive or be unable to connect events to fully grasp their surroundings. If Hackman was experiencing such cognitive impairment, it might explain why he didn't seek help immediately. When police entered the home after receiving a call from concerned neighbors, they found evidence that Hackman had continued his daily routine as if nothing had changed for a full 7 days after Betsy's passing. Half-prepared meals sat in the kitchen, laundry had been washed and folded, and household items were still in use. Clear indications that he had not acknowledged any significant disruption in their home. Even more unsettling, documents on the table contained handwritten notes that suggested he had been writing as though he were still conversing with his wife. This led investigators to ask, did Hackman genuinely fail to comprehend that his wife was gone? Or had he fallen into a psychological state of denial, refusing to accept the heartbreaking reality? One of the strangest details in this case was the neatly made bed in their bedroom. Even though Betsy had passed away inside the house, the bed had been tidied daily, as if she were still there. This raised speculation among investigators that Hackman may have maintained an unconscious habit, continuing his routines as though nothing had changed. Given his condition, it's entirely possible that, in his mind, Betsy was still alive, or at the very least, he was unable to come to terms with the fact that she was gone. The story of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa is more than just a mystery. It is a tragic reflection of love, memory, and perception. If Hackman truly did not realize that his wife had passed, It raises terrifying questions about how Alzheimer's can distort a person's reality. And if he did know but continued living as normal, was it an act of denial, or simply the heart of an aging man unwilling to face loneliness? This case leaves more questions than answers, and, perhaps, the truth vanished along with Gene Hackman himself. The police investigation and the strange clues inside Gene Hackman's mansion. When the police finally entered Gene Hackman's mansion, they quickly realized this wasn't just a case of an elderly couple passing away in isolation. What they found inside the house raised more questions than answers. There were no signs that Hackman had attempted to seek help during the days after Betsy's passing, despite the fact that the house had a working phone and internet connection. This led investigators to wonder, did he not realize his wife had passed? Or was there another factor preventing him from calling for help? One of the most baffling discoveries was the presence of 3 dogs in the house. Yet only 2 were still alive. The 3rd dog was found dead inside a closet, a disturbing detail that left investigators puzzled. There were no clear signs of injury or illness, and no explanation for why the dog had been placed there. Did Hackman do this in a state of confusion? Or had the dog sought shelter on its own in its final moments? The 2 surviving dogs also exhibited unusual behavior when officers arrived. They appeared frantic, pacing around the house, particularly near the bedroom where Betsy had passed away. An animal behavior specialist was brought in to analyze their reactions, leading to speculation that the dogs may have witnessed something significant. Had they seen Hackman struggling to comprehend what had happened? Or was there something else inside the house that no one had yet uncovered? Adding to the mystery, police noted subtle yet eerie irregularities in the home's layout. While most of the house remained tidy, some furniture appeared oddly misplaced. A chair was positioned directly in front of the main entrance, blocking the way, and some of Betsy's personal belongings were scattered in unusual locations. Investigators also found handwritten notes from Hackman on the dining table, but their content was disjointed and difficult to decipher, resembling the ramblings of someone losing their grip on reality. With no signs of foul play or forced entry, law enforcement found themselves facing a case filled with more mysteries than definitive answers. The unsettling details and Hackman's prolonged silence only deepened the enigma. Was this simply the tragic outcome of a man suffering from cognitive decline? Or was there a deeper, hidden truth within the walls of his secluded mansion? Gene Hackman's final days: isolation, confusion, and a desperate attempt for help. When authorities arrived at Gene Hackman's secluded Santa Fe mansion, they discovered the legendary actor collapsed near the front door, his frail body showing clear signs of distress. Investigators speculated that he may have been attempting to leave the house in search of help, a heartbreaking image of a man who had once commanded the silver screen, now reduced to a vulnerable state, trapped in his own isolation. The intense desert heat had taken its toll, and given his age and health conditions, it was unclear how long he had been lying there before being found. Despite the presence of a functioning landline and a cell phone, no calls or messages had been made in the days leading up to his death. This eerie silence suggested that Hackman had been living in complete solitude, unaware or unable to reach out for assistance. The question remained: did his cognitive decline prevent him from recognizing the urgency of his situation, or was he simply resigned to his fate? Friends and former colleagues later admitted that Hackman had become increasingly reclusive over the years, cutting ties even with those closest to him. His struggle with memory loss had been evident in his final months, but the extent of his decline became truly apparent after his passing. Investigators discovered partially completed grocery lists, forgotten meals left untouched in the kitchen, and scattered notes that made little sense. It was as if his mind had been slowly slipping away, piece by piece, leaving him trapped in a world where reality and confusion blurred together. If Betsy's sudden death had already left him lost, the days that followed may have only deepened his disorientation. What made his passing even more haunting was the sheer absence of human contact. No neighbors had noticed anything unusual, no visitors had stopped by, and no one had checked in on him during those final days. It was as if the outside world had simply forgotten about the once revered Hollywood icon. The sprawling mansion, once a private retreat for Hackman and his wife, had become a prison, silent, unforgiving, and utterly detached from the world beyond its walls. In the end, Gene Hackman's final moments were a tragic reflection of the isolation that had defined his later years. Whether it was his mind betraying him or simply the weight of loss proving too much to bear, his death underscored the devastating effects of loneliness. A man who had once been larger than life had, in his last days, become invisible, his desperate attempt to reach the outside world coming just a moment too late. Gene Hackman. From Hollywood icon to the tragedy of being forgotten. Gene Hackman was once one of Hollywood's greatest legends, a man who could command any screen he appeared on. With 2 Academy Awards and a career spanning over 5 decades, he was among the most sought-after actors of his time. Yet, as he grew older, he faded from the spotlight. No more red carpet appearances, no more interviews, no recognition for his immense contributions to cinema. His retirement from the industry seemed like a personal choice, but in many ways, it also reflected how Hollywood treats those who once brought it glory. In his final days, Hackman lived in an eerie silence. No friends, no family, and no neighbors noticed his absence or checked in on him. His sprawling estate in Santa Fe, once a peaceful retreat, became a prison of isolation that no one but him occupied. When the police finally arrived, they didn't just find a man who had passed away, they uncovered the profound loneliness he endured in his final moments. Hackman's death was not just the loss of a legend, but a chilling reminder of how forgotten many aging stars become. He was neither the first nor the last to be cast aside by Hollywood and society once their fame began to fade. How many once celebrated actors have died alone, unnoticed by the world that once adored them? Their lives were once followed by millions, but when the show ends, does anyone still care? His story is not just a personal tragedy, but a stark reflection of a growing crisis: the loneliness of the elderly. Those who were once revered become ghosts among the living, forgotten long before their actual deaths. No applause, no recognition, no one checking in, just the cold, deafening silence of old age. Hackman, once a hero on screen, ultimately shared the fate of so many seniors, abandoned by the very world he once helped illuminate. In the end, when people remember Gene Hackman, they may not only recall his brilliant performances, but also the harsh truth that even the greatest can be forgotten. Hollywood may be the land of dreams, but it is also a place where, once the lights go out, those dreams turn to dust. And Gene Hackman, despite being a legend, was no exception. Unanswered mysteries and the ongoing investigation. While Gene Hackman's death may seem straightforward, numerous unanswered questions cast a shadow of mystery over the case. Some neighbors reported hearing strange noises coming from his house late at night. Sharp, unexplainable sounds that didn't fit the quiet, reclusive lifestyle he had maintained for years. Could these noises be evidence of a struggle, an unknown visitor, or something even more sinister? Investigators have yet to determine whether these witness accounts hold any significance or if they are just eerie coincidences in an already tragic story. Another unsettling detail has further deepened the mystery. When police arrived at the scene, Hackman's body showed signs of unusual decomposition that did not align with the estimated time of death. Forensic experts have been unable to pinpoint the exact moment he passed away, leading to speculation that someone or something may have interfered with the natural process. Was his death truly of natural causes, or was there an effort to conceal the truth? The uncertainty surrounding this finding has only fueled more questions. To uncover the truth, investigators have begun analyzing Hackman's financial transactions. In many mysterious death cases, following the money often reveals hidden motives. Law enforcement is meticulously reviewing his bank records, searching for unusual withdrawals or suspicious financial activities that might be linked to the case. Was there an unexpected beneficiary in Hackman's will? Did someone stand to gain from his passing? These are the critical questions authorities are now trying to answer. Additionally, police are reviewing security footage from nearby cameras to determine if anyone suspicious was spotted near Hackman's home in the days leading up to his death. Although the area he lived in is known for its isolation and privacy, the possibility of an unidentified visitor cannot be ruled out. Was there an intruder? Or perhaps someone who saw Hackman before he died, but has yet to come forward? Every frame of footage could hold a vital clue in unraveling the mystery. As the investigation continues, the world is left wondering, was Gene Hackman's death truly a natural tragedy? Or is there a darker story waiting to be uncovered? The silence that surrounded his final days may hold the answers, but until the truth comes to light, this case remains a haunting enigma, one befitting the legendary man himself. Thank you for watching our video. The case of Gene Hackman remains shrouded in mystery, and the investigation is still ongoing, with new details emerging that may finally uncover the truth. We will provide updates as soon as more information becomes available. If you found this story intriguing, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future developments. Leave a comment below and share your thoughts. Could there be more secrets hidden behind Gene Hackman's death? Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you in the next video.